time is the scarce resource. And the generation that we're changing now wants to know what's in it for me. I feel like we had the luxury of time on previous implementations. Look at my early career, right? It was nothing to say a project's going to take 18 months. That's just how it was. 18 months. If you called less than 18 months, somebody said you made a mistake, it's 18 months, right? We're talking now about 6 months, 4 months for some of the work that we're wanting to do now. So we really, really slimmed that down. And in the Courier Guy style, we want to be bold and we want to take risks. So it's completely within our culture, and we're happy and we're going to give it a go. The people that we're working with now are dealing in instant gratification. We all know that in everybody's house, we don't even watch the same channel anymore. You're going to watch Netflix, you're going to watch a podcast. Everybody chooses to suit themselves. So I think that the generation we're training says, what's in it for me? Now we need a human to come and go, you know what, Karine, this is what changes for you. You know, you used to do this, because now you don't want to read this on a memo because you're going to go, sorry, that's disrespectful to me. I'm a human. Come and talk to me as a human. So now, funny enough, I think time and this human commodity, I know Simon Sinek's got some work on it recently to say, as an airline, the platinum status actually gets you a human again. Everybody else, when you're phoning the contact center, it's a nommer asseblief, and you must go in, you know. And actually the humans are coming in as the VIP support service. So I think it's going to be this time and human connection where that's what's going to be valuable. So that's, it's only kind of come through to me now, but I think that's what I'm seeing.
But what do you tell people if they ask you what is in it for them? What can you offer apart from money?
Listen, we've actually got so much.
Here's a salary for you, or
listen, all of these implementations, right? Lachlan is the first guy to say to me, Trish, like, make sure that we are making it easier for the human on the other end. So I can tell you, it's going to be phenomenally easier.
But that's for the customer, right?
No, even for the guy in the call center. For the guy in the call center, we've removed a whole lot of, you used to have to click, then you have to go over there, then you have to do this. So like the new process is super easy. But he wants to be told that. He doesn't want to just read that, and he doesn't want to just see that on day one. He wants to be engaged as a human that says, you know, Mary, on the 30th of March, this is what we're going to do. This is what it's going to look like. You know, you used to do that thing. You know, you used to click these 5 things. It's now these things. And then to Riedwaan was right in the beginning. Did we even ask Mary what she wanted, by the way? Because Mary, you know what? You know, we've got this thing coming. What do you actually want? And Mary's going to go, you know what's a real frustration for me? And that's where choosing the partner that you use for a technology is so, so, so important. Because now it comes back to right where Riedwaan started to say, did we even ask Mary?
Okay.
You know, and I think that's the process for me that's where you can win this or lose this.
So is Mary heard? And does Mary feel safe?
Yes. And she wants to be human heard.
Yeah.
Mary doesn't want to go on a survey. Survey response rates are what, like 2%. So nobody can be, you know. Is she heard? Yeah.
I wanted to take a different view on the Fickle part. I think if I take a positive view, contrarian view, is that the kids and the generation now are just questioning. And damn, they should be. Like, does the school system even make sense? My son brought me this slip to sign. And it says, me and my son went through the code of conduct and we're going to adhere to it. And I say, where's the code of conduct? So he brings it to me and I read this thing. I'm saying, okay. I say, what do you think about it? He says, no, I don't know if I want to sign. I say, what do you mean? He's 11 years old, right? So I'm like, why not? And he's like, he's rambling, because actually they don't really know what's bothering them, but they know they're not happy, they're not bothering. So he says, you know, actually the real problem is that they say they want you to have fun, but when I read this thing, there's nothing about having fun. You know what I mean? And I read it again with his lens, right? I was like, oh, this guy's right. I read it and it's like, everything is punitive. We come from a mindset where you told us what to do, our generation, you just do it, it's punitive.
Yes.
You will do this, or else you're fired, whatever. They're like, whoa, you're telling me I must come to school. First of all, I'm choosing whether I go to school. And now you want me to sign this thing, and he can't see anything that deals with fun and how he's going to enjoy this experience.
Yes,
and he still hasn't signed yet, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm saying it's the same thing, right? They're questioning the school,
Yeah.
they're questioning work.
Yeah.
This going to work, going to physical places is gone now, right? You can't get a tech guy that you get full-time in the office anymore. I don't know, maybe Lochner can get those, but they don't exist. Like, they're questioning, and so they should, right? And so let me take a fairly utopian view. When you take AI to its utopian, if you read science fi, it's like, one of the utopian views is like, okay, it will be the end of scarcity, right? To be abundance, everybody, you can see to everybody's basic needs and give everybody a basic income, and people can pursue what they want to, right? I think a lot of this generation is already there in what
That
utopia
is what they
is.
would like.
They're like,
Yeah.
that makes sense. If AI can do all of these things, again, why
Yeah.
must
Why must I get up at
do this thing?
7
Why
and
must I
drive
get up
through
at
the
7?
traffic? and-
Why must I work hard? Why must I do this?
Yeah.
If I want to know something now, I ask this AI, it tells me.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that Fickle is also another way for me that says, hey, they actually questioning the status quo in a way
Yeah.
that we never did.
Yeah.
And for my
culturally.
money, that's very good. It's just us old people don't know how to deal with it. And I literally have to say, okay, guy, let's speak through your code of conduct. And I have to say, because it needs to sign by Friday, right? So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a different take.
But I think it is that. It is going to circle back to, are we seeing people for who they are? And are we truly listening to people?
Because I think that's what companies should be selling internally
Yeah.
in this change management process, and say, listen, we don't really have to do this. We can continue on spreadsheets.
Yeah.
But we want to try and make life
Yeah.
more bearable for you, because life is generally unbearable for most people. And I think that's another point to maybe focus on, which is also a South African thing. So there's one big thing in the first principles that I always like to focus on is I changed my wording from mental health to mental fitness.
Okay.
Because in the workspace, what I see when you speak to customers or people that you're working on projects, mental health is something that you either have or you don't. Because if you say, I'm either mentally healthy or I'm not. And if I identify with I'm not mentally healthy, then I'm really in a difficult space and I'm treading water. You guys obviously do some stuff right, because you've gotten to this point in your career. You've not just previously, but you're currently doing exciting stuff. What do you do for your mental fitness? To be the example, to be the energy, to fight the right fights, to negotiate at the right points, to see the patterns, to be just present enough in a day to actually see the pattern, because that's not easy. It's difficult.
I mean, I have one of my biggest hacks ever in life is that I love running and I love listening to books, and I can do them together. And I listen usually on 2.5 speed, so it's a little bit crazy. So I
then you run it for 4 minutes a kilometer at that
No,
speed.
but like think about it. Like I'm doing an hour of running, and I've listened to 2.5 hours of a book, so I can get through multiple books. Right? It's the biggest hack that I've ever. And I think like for me as a leader, and it's the point, right? It's like everything is evolving all the time. Your perspective, things around you, and if as a leader you're not evolving, I think mental wellness, and I like that, and mental is about how you constantly understanding yourself, but that which is around you. And I think that's important, because both are moving, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, 2 of my kids are on the spectrum that I found over the last few years, and that the most important thing you understand as I'm parenting them now is that there's 2 elements. The one is, how do you regulate the environment for them? But also importantly, how do you make or allow them to regulate themselves? And you need to know what to use when. And I think it's no different to us as adults, as executives or whatever, and I always maintain that. You need to understand, what do I need to regulate in my environment? And how do I navigate that? And how do I regulate myself? How when I'm in this massive meeting and the things go south and I'm like, hey,
sorry.
that's a moment, right?
I just want to dive into that a step lower. Why do you think you've got the right to regulate?
Myself?
Yes. Why do you think you've got the influence on this world around you? Because I think a lot of people feel powerless. Like they feel like they're just being blown. And, my boss said this, my wife said this. What a step down? It sounds like you feel like you're empowered to regulate yourself and your environment.
100%.
At which point did you get there?
through lots of sessions at the psychotherapy.
Great plan.
We'll put in your number. We'll put in her number in the notes.
I don't know. I think you get to a point, I've been through that, where like, if you don't regulate, you go to a very particular point, which is unsustainable. We've all been there, I think. I think it's the other way around. How can you not regulate yourself for your own good? I always tell people everybody should be in therapy. Our life is it's so complex, so much things. I don't know, for me it's been like, if you don't regulate yourself, everybody else is going to do that for you. And why would you give away your power to somebody else? It's not about you thinking you have the power. I think it's more the opposite. Why would I want to give my well-being and my state of mind away to somebody else?
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. I can't even think why I would do that.
Yes.
And then secondly, why would I be in environments that doesn't serve me, right? I'm going to pick on you, and I've learned this from you initially, and you repeated it again now. You sit across a customer, and at some point you walk away, right? Because in your mind you're saying, if I'm not going to regulate my environment, this thing doesn't matter how well I regulate myself.
Yes.
This thing's going to kill me, right?
Yes.
So I think if you don't do that balance as a leader, you're dead. And you have to.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't, then somebody else is in control. That customer is in control. That boss is in control.
Yeah.
And I don't know, as a human, once you let that go, then there's no value, right? And so, though I've always known it intuitively through my kids and understanding the spectrum, is like, once you get that perspective, how do you help them regulate their environment, and how do you help them regulate themselves? I think it's so liberating.
Yeah.
But I think something that's important for us to just label is the ability to regulate is a skill. It's something you have to learn how to do. It's not just some people are magically able to do it and others are not. It's something, whether you learn it in therapy or if it was modeled to you by maybe like a parent or whatever, but it's a skill. And the second thing I'm hearing you say is it brings us back right to the beginning, like slowing down, having patience, not being so performance driven that it has to happen now and it has to happen quick.
Not taking it personally.
Not taking it
If you don't regulate yourself, everything is personal.
Yes, true.
But I'm going to guarantee that we've all made those mistakes.
Absolutely.
So it's almost easy to sit
Yes.
here
Yeah.
in the back nine of our career, as I heard yesterday. I think we all made these mistakes, right? So, I mean, I can tell you I went through phases where I didn't know how to self-regulate, and I didn't have the skills on my own mental health. So, I mean, I can tell you now the things that I did, but I don't, some of it I think is maybe it's a cycle of life. I mean, I'd love to know from you, do you see young kids? Look, I can see it coming through schools now. I think there's a lot more in schools now than there was certainly when I went to school. It was a very science, geography, history kind of curriculum. I think it's changing now. And I think that's why we're seeing kids push back.
Yes.
You know, then that wasn't a skill that you saw coming through school. So I think you're seeing some of that. I often ask myself, do you have to learn the hard lesson in order to figure out how to self-regulate? I don't know. It's a really interesting one for me.
It's another tension, I think, because on the one end, you will automatically learn things if you're wounded or you go through difficult stages. And going through the wilderness is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
But some people can go through the wilderness and they only get traumatized by it. They don't necessarily learn a lot. On the other side, it's also about being like, almost like going ahead of yourself, prepping. That's what I enjoy about the youth. It's not just in schools, but they use social media and the videos that they watch. They have language. They learn how to do things before they are even in trouble. And I think if you can have both those, if you can equip yourself ahead of time and you can use those skills when you're in the wilderness, then you learn, then you get that beautiful integration which ends in wisdom, right?
Except it's a pendulum, right, as you know as well. So we shift to the one side and then we shift to the other side. So I think we're now in a place where the pendulum has shifted a lot more with people.
Yeah.
I'm empowered to your question actually, like people feel much more empowered now.
Talk about
Like,
it.
hey,
Yeah.
if I don't, what do you mean? I have the right to choose where I go, who I attack. That's unheard of, right?
Yes.
You know. So I think we shift the pendulum. I'm a strong believer in everything from my husband was like. It's always somewhere in the middle. Always.
So I've got 2 questions from our listeners. Trish, can I ask you? First one. So for the listener who's been burned before, who tried to lead change and got politically outmaneuvered or blamed when it didn't show results fast enough, what would you say to them about trying again?
Listen, so I've been there, definitely. The thing I want to say about being burned is you've learned and you've been burned, right? So sometimes it's almost like, well, what's the worst that can happen? The same thing, you know? So hopefully you learn from that first one. The second thing I want to say is I almost think if you feel like you got burnt, you were trying to do it alone. It is my own self-reflection. You took too much on. You shouldn't actually ever get to the point where results come down to one person, not in a big deployment, not in a big project. And if you did, your ego, I suspect, like mine, I thought I was going to be the hero, and I thought I knew everything, and then didn't work out because I didn't involve the right people, certainly in my own learning. I should have spread my net wider. I should have listened more in the beginning. I should have gone, I always believe you go slow in the beginning, then allows you to go faster towards the end. If you come out of the gates and you think you know the answer, invariably you're going to find out at the finish line you might have missed a few things. So, Lachlan, I think my advice here is go slower in the beginning, build much stronger relations with the other people in the team, and make sure you don't feel alone. If you're feeling alone, you haven't cast your net wide enough. It's either to build, in the case that I've done with you, how do I build that partner relationship? How do I bring my Exco team on that journey with me? If you're feeling alone, that's the signal.
When things go wrong, you will be burned.
Yeah. But if you've been burned, damn it, go again, right? But I also, my last thing is, you've got to love this. So I know for me, I get out of bed being able to provide clarity for the business so that when things go wrong, I can go, that diagnosed conversation I had earlier, you've also got to know, is this what you love doing? If you got burned and you go, I've learned that wasn't me, don't try and force it again because it's not for everybody. You've really got to be comfortable with being a servant leader. I know somewhere was a thought around what did I give up in my career for the job that I have now. As a transformation leader, you very often are a servant leader. So by that I mean I don't run ops. I don't run the contact center. My role is to make them look like heroes. If I want to be the hero, I need to go and be the ops guy, or I need to lead customer services. I need to accept that my role is to make others successful. If I want to be that guy on the stage, then this probably isn't the job for you. So some of this is about saying, are you really truly prepared to be a servant leader and do this in service of others? Then go for it. Yeah.
I like it. Thank you. Okay, Riedwaan, last question to you. When you started all those years ago, this ambition you've had about the patient journey, what did you believe about business and transformation that you now realize is naive? Not wrong necessarily, but incomplete.
Yeah, I think we touched on it earlier, but I'll kind of reiterate is that definitely initially I thought you just had to be the cleverest oak and have the evidence and do what's right. I think there were times in my career I was like, what do you mean this thing is obviously the right thing? It's obviously everybody should doing. Why is everybody not understanding it? I think all of us get to that first realizations. We're like, it's not enough. Being clever is not enough. Being excellent is not enough. Being thorough is not enough. And it's to the point, it's all the other things. It's the incentives, it's the emotions, it's what you do to people. So I think as you evolve, and I suspect it's for the person who gets burnt as well, is that you're learning, right? If you haven't been burnt, that means you probably haven't been ambitious enough or haven't been optimistic enough. And so you go on again. And so I think there were many projects where I was like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? And then you learn and you're like, okay, it's not about the nail.
Yeah, awesome. I love it.
It's not about the nail. And once you understand that, I think actually the naivety evaporates and you're like, okay, I must do good, but actually there's a whole process to manage here. that is not just about the content.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest, like, once you do that, I think your eyes open, you're like, okay, shit, actually there's a lot of work. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe a thing to land us on is to get to that first principle, to get to the truth, is a lot of work. It's digging for gold. You need to go through a lot of crap to get to that golden vein. And I think maybe this is an encouraging word for the people out there who's considering possibly being burnt, that you don't have to get burnt, but it takes a lot of work. You have to dig through all the crap and to get to the gold, and it's an ongoing process. I want to thank you, Trish. I want to thank you, Riedwaan. I know all of you are busy, super busy people. The parcels are moving, and so are we. Karin, I know there's people out there who's actually in need of your time right now, and I really appreciate that you joined. All the best with your endeavor. I'd love to see what you're going to do, Trish. Also, same with you. Lots to do. And Karin, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's been fun.
It was lekker. That's how our passes.
Lekker. Thank you, Lachna.
Okay. I just want to quickly know, if you walk out of here, what's your first thing you screamed at you, Trish?
I think this is
kids?
a really, really...
Is it work? Is
no,
it
it's not kids today, No, Lachna, I actually think this is going to be super powerful, right? Because often as a leader, it does feel like a lonely journey. And I think